Hi all. Today's lab session is all about creating a 3D animation effects. So from 2D pictures, we're going to create like a 3D illusion in After Effects. So hopefully this will really get you more understanding of how timeline looks, how the keyframing would work, and everything. So I've got this little video to show you before we even go into creating that. So let me just open this in VLC. Let's open this, stretch it out more. So just play this again. So this is what you're going to be doing by the end of this session. So if I play this, so the earth comes in, it wobbles, and you got the set in there, comes in, right? Let's play that one more time again. Okay, and I'll upload this video as well, so you can really have this as a reference point as well. Okay, so I can just kind of minimize that because I would need that for my reference to create this tutorial. So now let me just go on After Effects. Okay, once you open there, just simply go to right click, files, and let's drag all of them in here. I don't really need the video files, so if I just kind of only drag all the still images. Okay, so once you've got all the files there, you got your stars, you got your Saturn, Moon, Mars, and Earth. Alright, so now I'm going to just simply create a canvas, a composition. How much the composition should be, what's the size. The best way, what you need to do is always get the background of the actual image. So for us, the background is our stars. If I just double click on the stars, you can have a look at the stars, and the stars are size 800 by 600. So what I'm going to do to get the right proportion, I'm going to simply drag the stars on this little icon, which is called the create a new composition. So I'm going to drag the stars here, right here, and now I've got the composition ready for me. So I can just simply rename this. Just go to rename first. I'm going to just say planets comp COMP. Okay, so I've got my planet comp sorted. Now, how do I know how many seconds long I need the composition to be? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do some settings. So let's do some background homework here. So I'm going to go to Planet Comp, right click, composition settings, and on here what I'm going to do, at the moment it says 15 frames per second. That's fine, we leave it to that, and duration is 5 seconds. I would need duration for only 3 seconds. So let's make a 3 seconds long video. So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's fine. So let's make it 3 seconds, and I'll say okay to that. And what happens here on the timeline as well, it'll give you like a 3 seconds duration. Okay, so firstly what I'm going to do is kind of check everything is fine. So I know I've got my frames there. Okay, you can kind of try to experiment things yourself as well. Now, what you can do here is if you go on Earth now, so we're going to start with the Earth project. So Earth picture comes in on the top of this, and then I can move my Earth wherever I want. Just remember that if you select stars, you'll be obviously moving the stars, but we don't want to move that. So if you just do Command Z, and then you go back to Earth, and then Earth is here. So what we can do is if you just press on the Shift key, that means when you're moving the Earth, if I just simply, for example, if I don't press on the Shift key and I just simply click on this little dot, any of these dots, what could happen here is I can move the proportion, but really I don't need to change the proportion of this Earth. So what I need to do, I'll just simply undo that, click on this one of the key there, and press on the Shift key, and then what it does, it gives you the right proportion. That's what we're after. So if I just kind of bring this down somewhere there, and then start the Earth coming in like how the video was showing, and I'm going to just let it wobble there. So okay, so let's start with here. Make sure you select on Earth and press P. Okay, so this kind of opens up, which is called the position. Okay, pressing the P, just click on this little timer here. That represents that now you're going to start timelining this. If I just click on here, and then you see the dot appears here. If I just kind of now, let's say that I want this round ball to be there in about 1 second, let's say. Just bring it in and off we go there. Okay, so that's the kind of animation. Play that. There you go. Okay, so at the moment I'm very happy with this. There you go. So of course, so in theory I've just done a quick animation. Now anything could happen in between that. What you can even do that while it's growing in, you can kind of make it smaller and then go bigger. So basically imagine that the camera is somewhere right down here. So basically if I can kind of just imagine the camera is viewing from this point here, and what I'm going to do is simply bring the Earth in here and just lower the camera down and then enlarge the actual footage. So now what I'm going to do from this point, what I'm going to do is use scale. So press S. Okay, and when you press S, what we can do is from S is make the timeline again. From this point I can just increase the size a little bit and then bring it down again. There you go. So you can see that there's a little touch there, and of course you can do kind of things like that as well. So it's really up to you if you want to really start increasing sizes, but it's quite good to work on that. Other thing what you can always do, at the moment what I'm showing you, I'm just pressing S and I'm just pressing P, like S is scale and P is position. What you can even do is simply, instead of doing all that, you can just simply click on this little icon here, this little arrow point pointing downwards, and it will show you all your transformation. So you got your anchor points, position, scale, rotation, and optimizing. So basically you can kind of do however you feel like. So that's my Earth coming in, and what I can even do, for example, if I don't like the scaling, okay, I can simply highlight these icons. There we go. If I just simply click on these icons like that, sorry, if you just kind of do that, I can just simply go and delete them, pressing backspace button. Okay, at the moment I'm happy with this timeline. Right, let's move on. What I'm going to do now is bring in Mars in. So if I just kind of bring in the Mars, okay, that's my Mars there. There you go. Okay, so let me just see how does the Mars move. Let me just go and have a look at this video quickly. There we go. Okay, so the Mars comes in, just goes in and wobbles around. Okay, I might not be able to just do the whole mimicking. I can just improvise it as well, so you don't have to really copy the whole thing down. So let's try our best to do as much as possible. Okay, so I've got my Mars in there, so let's go starting from this point. Just bring it in, and that's where it is. So I'm gonna just go to Mars, just click on this little icon there. Okay, transformation. What I can do is go on to position. While it's moving, I can just simply move up somewhere there, and then on here I can go there. You can see the curves happening now, and then from this point I can go here. Okay, remember it was bouncing in, and on this point I can go down, and I'll show you what's happening, and then on this point go up, up. That's it. So basically if you see this timeline, how it's gradually building up. So if I play this back, okay, so that's kind of a very rough sketch there, but let's kind of improve that. So from this point here, okay, I want this scale to go down. So if you just click on the scale on your Mars point, so if you just click on the scale, so let's bring the scale a little bit low. So at the moment it's 100, just bring it down a bit here. Okay, so Mars is coming, there you go. Let's increase him from this point, so let's bring him up a bit more. So you can either click on this little anchor points, but what you can even do is go on the scale because it's all changed, so you can just kind of do something like that. Let's do here, let's bring this down a bit more. This point, let's do that. Now it's coming in front of the camera, let's kind of increase that a little bit more. You don't really have to copy. See, once this comes down, I need to really bring this smaller a bit so it doesn't actually go. There you go. So I want this to be not coming out of the shot, so there you go. Okay, and from this point make him bigger. Okay, sorry. There you go. At this point again, just kind of drag it up a bit, and off we go. So you can see that a lot of things have changed there. So if we just play this back, okay, there you go. Now on this video it actually kind of goes, it bounces. So what we can do, we can kind of start mimicking the bounce as well. So just kind of click there, and from this point what we can do is, again, it's scaling really. So if I kind of open this like this, just kind of bring it up a bit, so we can just do that, and then that, that. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just making it bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. That it kind of gives you that kind of illusion of stuff. Let's go back. See that? So that's kind of, there you go. It just goes back in the scene. So just play that. There we go. Okay, it's not perfect, but I believe you get the point of how you can kind of start looking at your animations. Okay, let's go and drag the moon. Let's see what does moon do. So if you just go on this video again, okay, so okay, so if I just open the moon now, let's go and have a look at the moon. What does the moon does? Okay, there you go. So I think moon has got a different expression here. So if you can see what moon is doing, so if you just bring in the moon, there we go. The moon is really coming from the back and then coming front. Okay, let's do that. So now let's get the moon. So let's go and get the moon. Remember, it goes on top here. I will be taking you through this how to create the 3D as well. So I'm still not finished yet. Let me just create the whole sequence first. I'm going to take you through that. So let's get the moon in. I'm going to get the moon in, and then it's just kind of come in, just kind of stay somewhere there. We can start the moon somewhere here. I'm going to just improvise that now. We'll just start bringing the moon there. Again, if I press P, position, just start bringing the moon from here, there, there, and there. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of bring the moon somewhere there, and we just get it, let it stay from this one. So from this point I'm gonna just increase the size of the moon. I can just simply go on the scale, just increase, just make sure you always click on the actual stopwatch, which is the timeline. Just bring the scale from this point on. We'll just kind of bring it bigger. It's coming closer. That's perfect. See, once it goes out of the shot, so just from this point I'll just make it smaller, make it smaller again. Don't want to really come off of the scene, and from this point onwards just make it bigger. Just kind of move it a little bit that way so I can kind of make the scene right. And there you go. So I'm happy with that. So if I just kind of see where this moon is, if I just kind of bring this somewhere there, so the moon comes in, out and about. You must be thinking, hang on, because the moon in the video, the moon actually was traveling in front and then it went back, and that's where the 3D will come in. So I'm going to show you how to work with the 3D appearance at the moment. Okay, so once that's done, what we're going to do now is see if we can get the Saturn in as well. We just bring in the Saturn. There you go. And Saturn's pretty easy, just falls on and then wobbles from here. So let's go from this point up there. Just go position, and then you can just drop him down from this point there. There you go. So we can just kind of have it there. So you can say that. There you go. And I think what we can do is make that a little more interesting by simply putting some scaling in as well. Let's go on the scale. So from this point, so let's go on the scale from this point. You can just increase that a bit more. Okay. So for this one we can just go with this, kind of as if it's bouncing in here. Let's go back there. Again, put up. Again, do that. Put up there. See what I'm doing? I'm just making it like as if it's really bouncing. Okay, it's just really an illusion which we're going to create. Just bring this down again. You see what I'm doing? So every time when I'm moving the actual Saturn up and down and just squeezing in and out, I'm just creating a timeline for that. Okay, and then go back on here. There you go. There you go. So I think I'm pretty much happy with that. See, that's it. Kind of, it's not perfect, but I think it'd be great if you can kind of really kind of work on that. If you just play that. Okay, pretty much there. And then the last thing we have is our stars and how we're going to work with our stars. So imagine I've got my stars there and nothing's happening at the moment. So let's go back on our stars, which obviously is the main thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go on scale on stars and just kind of increase the stars from this. And I'll show you why we want to increase the stars. The canvas has to come out, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to make an illusion where this kind of some movement is happening within that. Okay, so we're going to start from this point, probably come from that point somewhere there. So we're going to start from here. Okay, and what we're going to do the position, get a keyframe, and then from, let's get the animation rolling from, and that's the end, isn't it? So I can just simply bring this somewhere down there, so you can see that now there'll be some kind of movement of stars as well. There we go. Okay, but I think what we can do a bit more better than that. What we can do is kind of not kind of squeeze in too much, so just kind of really give more kind of slower animation. There we go. So just kind of bring in more a bit that way. Oh, sorry, undo that. So that what we can do, and what we can even do is go on the position. Oh, sorry, just go on scale as well. And what we can do is kind of increase the scale as well. So from this point I'm happy, and just bring that in here, and we'll just increase that a little bit more that way. So if you can see that it's increasing the scale and it's kind of moving the dynamics there as well. Okay, now we have kind of completed the actual animation which I really wanted. Okay, all our planets are moving nice and smooth, but the only problem is I can't see any 3D there. Okay, so what you ought to be doing is converting that every image into a 3D. So you see these little boxes here. If you kind of click on this little box there, if you can't see this little icons, simply click on right at the bottom. It says expand and collapse the layer switch panel. Simply click on that and you'll see the 3D switches. So just click on the 3D boxes switches, so that converts into 3D. Okay, now what do I mean by 3D? It doesn't mean that it's if you're doing Maya or 3D Studio Max. What it gives you an illusion, so you can start working on different images. So for example, if I bring this moon here, so if you just watch this moon very carefully, this part here, so that's my moon there. I've selected. If my moon was behind the Earth, if I just bring in that, obviously it would disappear. It's quite obvious that because my stars come and the moon comes first and Earth and everything. But the whole principle is how we can make the moon disappear while it's kind of comes in here. So basically I want the moon to come in. Okay, you see at the moment at this shot here, I want the moon to still be at the back. So from this point I want the moon to be back, 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 and when it goes around the Earth, then I'm going to bring the moon in. So I'm going to just bring it down somewhere there. Okay, so this is my animation coming in. I want the moon to be right at the back, and then as soon as it goes up, if I just kind of undo that, that's fine, and then it goes in. So let's have a look at how we kind of work that out. So if we're just kind of starting from this frame here, let's look at this active camera. Let's go and go on the top view, and you can see everything, all our objects are in one line. So you can see that's my Earth, y-axis, moon, and then Mars. The Saturn is somewhere here. And what we can do is now, if I just go on our moon, okay, right, so once we have selected our moon, we can see that everything is all in one axis. Okay, so in y-axis, our Saturn, moon, Mars, everything is one. So let me just zoom in to quickly show you what I mean. So there we go. So that's my kind of Earth, Mars, moon. Okay, now let me just zoom out a bit to just really show you. Now to start with, what I want to do, I'm going to view two screens. So let's go on my viewing panel first of all. Here I'm going to just go to view horizontal. Right, so I've got my viewing here. So what I'm going to do, I can, as soon as I select on each box, you can see that's selected, active camera and top camera. So let's go on my active camera, and of course if you're still seeing the top view here, just make sure you click on this part here, the first camera selection, and then go on active camera. So technically what I would like you to see is the frame here, the keyframing, okay, the wireframe, and then you see the real things. At the moment, if you can see, the moon is right in front, and my job is, what you need to doing is get this moon right at the back. Okay, now remember that the only way we can do that is making sure that this is all clicked in, making sure that everything is all 3D. So let's click on the moon now, okay, and watch very carefully. This will it's quite interesting. So if you just kind of move in here, so from the beginning itself, I want the moon to be back. So I'm going to just go to the z-axis, just bring this moon. See that? So as soon as I bring this back there, okay, keep going, it's going back. That's good. And then there's a jump. See that this jump needs to be coming nicely as well. So I'm going to still pull this back a bit more. Okay, and keep going there, back, and then that's fine. So see, so the animation was the moon's now gone back, comes in, and off we go. Now let's see what Mars is doing here. So if we're just going to go on the Mars part there, so Mars comes in. Okay, and what we can do is bring Mars at the back as well. So let's get Mars at the back. So there we go. So if we're just from this point, let's get Mars at the back as well. So there you go. See that? So Mars can be right at the back there. There we go. So we can go even stretch out quite back. There you go. Somewhere there. Okay, it's just an illusion really. So there we go. So Mars is back, comes in. And at this point here, we can kind of still pull him back a bit more. And what we can do is kind of release him from this point there. So at least it shows that it's coming off. So that's this point there. And off it goes. See that? So that's a good kind of animation. And then we go bounce in and off we go with that. Okay, so I'm kind of hope you understand that principle, how we are creating that 3D illusion, where it just kind of gives you that kind of edge to your work. Okay, right, now let's look at how we can do the Earth look a bit wobbly, because right at the end what happens, the scene is that the Earth kind of, imagine the Earth is just kind of bounced into the wall and it's just kind of wobbling there. So let's go on the Earth here, okay, and let's do something there. So let's stop at the keyframe where it stops. Okay, now to do that, what you need to do is go to Effects. Okay, before I do that, make sure you select on the Earth, go to Effects, Distortion, and go to Transform. Okay, and once you're in Transform, what we really need to do is create, at the moment you see the anchor point is right in the middle, so if I want to skew that, it just kind of is skewed this way. So you see that? So I can kind of, I really don't want that. I want something from starting from this point, left and right. So let me just take this to 0. Okay, and what I'm going to do is to make sure that our Earth, first of all, is kind of somewhere here. So when we are skewing, so it kind of blends in nicely. So the Earth stops there. Okay, we got some space there. Skewing. Firstly, let's get the anchor points right. So just click on this anchor point there. Okay, and this big huge plus sign at the moment is showing the anchor points right in the middle. So my anchor point should be somewhere at the bottom there. So I'm going to just simply click in here. As soon as I click there, you can see there's 2 anchor points. Let me just zoom into here. You can see that's 1 anchor point and the second anchor point is there. So what I'm going to do is simply now go on the position and bring this down and connect these 2 anchor points together. Okay, so once we've done the anchor point connection, what we can do is now, if I just kind of do skew, it's still happening and I don't need that. So if you just kind of 0 this, if you think about it, skew axis, now we're going to change the axis of it. So I want it to 90 degrees, so I'm going to go left and right 90, so just simply click on that, press 90, and the 90 degree comes up. And now I think hopefully that's it. This is what I'm after. Okay, so I think if I want to just move that a little bit more here, so I can kind of more express that. So you can kind of, let's move it more. There you go. So I want to express it more. There you go. So from this point to that point, hopefully I'm going to animate that. Okay, so now let me just make that 0 first of all. So animation would be, the Earth comes in, stops. Where it stops, I'm going to just get that to wobble. So from here, what I'm going to do is start animating. So I'm going to just simply click on this skew button there. Okay, that's my animation. So if you're going to just quickly click on this button there, and as soon as it stops, just give it a frame rate, do that, and then do this again, make that way. You see what I'm doing? I'm just simply going step by step And the whole thing about After Effects is it's all manual driven, so you technically have to do everything yourself, like what I'm doing right now. There you go. It goes out of the frame, it's a little bit out of frame. Just always make sure, especially when if you ever want to convert that into 3D as well, you can just kind of look on a different perspective as well. So just kind of do that. Do this. Do that. Do this. Just let it wobble. I mean, the good thing about the whole thing is what you can even do once you've got a kind of wobbling happening. So if you just play this, that's too quick. See that? So it's really fast because I just was going kind of one step at a time. So what I can do, I can select all of them and then kind of just really bring them in. So if I just go on the effects and transformation, and these were my skews, so what I can do is simply kind of really give them more space. I can just kind of bring them somewhere here, select this, so select all of them and just kind of give them more space. Just select that, do this, okay. Right, so just do that again. And then what I can do is, once I've got a nice kind of loop happening, there we go, and I can simply copy all of this, copy that, and I can just simply paste it somewhere here, so that can repeat as much as I can. And then I want to go back on here. That's it. Let's stop it there. Just repeat. Oh, okay. So if I just kind of let it just stop somewhere at that point there, I can just simply squip back there. Okay. Okay. So off we go with that. So if you just play this back, okay, not bad. Okay, and I hope that this will give you a very clear understanding of how you can create a 2D image into a 3D image by simply creating your 3D illusion by clicking on these boxes there. Okay, and how you can go back to your two viewing palettes. So basically, if I want to have a look at this palette as my front view, my top view, that was my top view, that's my front view, and then of course we can just kind of click on the moon and the Mars and start looking at our different animation and your styles. So there we go. Okay, so hope you've enjoyed this this session, and please improvise it more because there's a lot of other work to be done. Have a look at some YouTube tutorials as well. I'll be putting some more extra additional information as well for your work. Okay, thank you.